So it was a Saturday morning news break right here on NDTV, which completely busted this myth and this bubble that was created about Sushant Singh Rajput. A panel of doctors of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, headed by Sudhir Gupta, have concluded that this is death by suicide, that this is not murder. No other way has this death happened but a death by suicide. But then, of course, you've got sections, though I personally do not like naming people or naming their channels, but let's broadly call them godi media because that's what they are now inventing facts. They're manufacturing facts and adding a little bit of their theatrics to it and letting it simmer. To what end? I mean, the story has gone on for close to 100 days, if not more, on what could potentially or what is potentially now being seen as a lie, a blatant lie. How long, we ask? Let me now introduce, and this is a significant discussion. I've got Abhinandan Sikri, co-founder of newslaundry.com, and Smita Prakash, editor of the ANI, is also with us. Mr. Sikri, you go first. I mean, for close to 100 days, more than 3 months, we have seen a sustained campaign. Many people would call it malicious campaign. A narrative has been built. Agencies have been involved. People have gone to jail on the presumption that he has been murdered. Fine. I mean, this is their welcome to do their form of journalism. But now what? Now doctors of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences have concluded that this was death by suicide. Again, invention of facts. I mean, what do we want? Who should investigate this?
See, I think this is a classic case of institutions being discredited to an extent where people will believe what they want, and that's not entirely new. I mean, people had confirmation bias all along. It's a part of human nature. But I think what we are seeing, and not just in India, in many parts of the world, and I think this is thanks to a rise of a certain kind of leadership across the world, a certain kind of media across the world, where it is in their interest to discredit everybody. So when you say sab ek jaise hain, so then whoever has the executive power becomes most powerful. So you discredit, it's not like the police had major credibility, but you discredit every arm or institution, whether it is, commissions or statutory bodies or certain courts. So that is what we are seeing. And the media, very worryingly, is playing, and some section of the media are playing a very active role in this. Ki sabko hi bol do, sabhi jhoot bol rahe hain. So then even the biggest liar seems like the rest. And then whoever has power, it's in their interest. And the kind of media you're talking about, the kind of channels you're talking about, another aspect that plays on, that makes them do this, and you may have seen the TRP ratings of the last few months, the Sushant Singh case led to a spike in ratings because it has all the, the drama and the masala associated with prime time, really unhealthy but satisfying viewing. You have a beautiful star who's trying to make it. One man, one woman, both of them are beautiful, both of them are good looking. One is dead. You drum up all these facts, and then you've seen how...
So you're saying this is formulaic?
Yeah, it's
formulaic. You feel that this is reality TV, formulaic television?
Exactly, and these two things are at an intersection. I have said before on your panel and many others, they're not competing with news.
Yes, absolutely, you have.
Reality shows. So they are competing with reality shows. Now with Big Boss starting this week, I don't think people like Arnav are competing for news or credibility. They're competing with the Salman Khan, with the Dolly Bindra, with KRK. And that is why they have the kind of, correspondence they do. Which reporter does this, Yasaki? You've seen that of whatever that Bhandari chap's name is. Aise naach ke. I've reported when I was young. I mean, I can't imagine doing that.
Apparently there's a word for it. It's called Nagin dance.
Who does that?
Smita Prakash, editor of the ANI. See, Smita, I'm not going to sit here and pontificate on what is, at least personally won't do this, on what is good journalism and what is bad journalism. Also, we must refrain from fake equivalence.
But that's
the point
exactly
is,
what you and
a channel may
Abhinandan
take
did.
pride in the fact, Smita,
That's
that
exactly
a
what
channel
you
may
and
take pride in the
Abhinandan
fact
did,
that they've become 35% rating, 40% rating, 77% rating, 2,000, 900,000% rating. I mean, take it all. But don't manufacture facts. Or is that what it has come down to? That there will be stories for 5 months with absolutely concocted facts. And you will get away with it.
While you say that, Sanket, with due respect and apologies, though you say you didn't pontificate, you and Abhinandan did exactly the same thing. I mean, it's easy to label people. I mean, if you are going to be calling the other side of the media, which are sitting on the other side of the spectrum as Godi media, they call you Lutyens media. So that doesn't make you any better than them if you are going to be labeling people like that. So let me be Auntie G out here and give you a little bit of advice on that. That it's better not to say Nagin dance and
no, that's okay,
Godi
Smita.
media.
See, that's all fine.
But
But my
your
point
channel
is,
has been called Godi
one
media
has to be
stuff,
called out.
right? So
I'm not going to sit here and be
so
coy
if it's
about
said
this,
in a joke,
and I'm practicing a lot of
in a
restraint,
living
by the
room,
way.
or in a WhatsApp, if it's a WhatsApp chat and you are chatting with friends, it's
Saying
a different
it
matter.
with a lot of
Sanket.
restraint.
If it's canteen mein baith ke chatting with pals, it's a different matter. But if it's a serious discussion we are having, I want to come back to that. Yes, I totally, completely.
I think it's a
agree with
very
you
serious
that
discussion, and the name that has been given to them has been given with all seriousness, Smita. All seriousness. It defines who they are.
Okay, fine. If that's your angle, I don't want to be part of any discussion, I'm afraid, Sanket, when name calling is done. I want to stay away from name calling. I don't do that when I go to the channels that you mention, and I don't do that when I come to your channel. So I wish to sit
I respect
apart
you
from
for that.
Now, to come back to the discussion, I agree that that there is selection bias, there is sensationalism, there is scandal mongering, there is political Noora Kushti, shadow boxing, channel versus channel battles for TRP. The entire model of television news, I'm afraid, has led to this. The TRP, the TRP vicious battles that have come about, and because of that, truth becomes the casualty. Viewers have got so hypnotized in some cases that, and I say this with utmost responsibility, that viewers are so hooked on to these reporters and to anchors that, you know, they could be sitting in Jhumri Talaiya, they could be sitting in South Delhi, in Kottayam, in Lucknow, anywhere, but they say, "Arey, 3 mahine se to hum dekh rahe hain that it is not suicide, और अब आप that it is murder, it is not suicide, और अब कोई आके forensic वाला कहता है that it is suicide, we are not going to believe it." So truth can be placed before them by a forensic expert, but because of this continuous hammering of a certain kind of narrative, they tend to believe it. हम 3 महीने से देख रहे हैं. They just know it. So, you know, whether it is the Hathras incident, or whether it is the Sushant Singh Rajput case, whether it was killed or committed suicide, forensic team or a TV reporter, this bias has already crept in the mind of viewers, and you can say whatever you want today. When they select a particular channel, they know the editorial line that an anchor or a channel is taking, and they want that reiteration of what they have already believed in. So unfortunately, CBI parrot hai, police reporting to political bosses. Political bosses are interested in not the truth, but in the Bihar election which is coming about. There is an answer for everything by everybody. Everybody is an expert on forensics now after the Sushant Singh Rajput case.
Sanket, if I may...
running out of time, very quickly, I know, Smita, you're not going to like this, but there's a viewer who wants to ask you a question. And
Sanket,
you are well within your rights to say no to this question. The question is, please ask Smita ji, which side of the line is she with? Lutyens or Godi media? Where do you place yourself?
I neither live in Lutyens, Delhi, nor is my office in Lutyens, Delhi. So I don't, but I certainly do go for a cup of coffee to Lutyens, Delhi. And I certainly have contacts in Lutyens, Delhi, because that is where news is reported from. So no reporter in Delhi working for a news channel cannot be part of Lutyens, Delhi. So yes, I am very much a product of Lutyens, Delhi, but then I don't sit on any divide. I can't afford to because I'm an agency reporter. I'm not a channel reporter.
Sanket, if I may just...
Correct.
I just want to...
All right. Yes, Abhinandan. Quick closing comments.
One is that this coyness that... I mean, I've never said that I won't pontificate on other channels, so I don't see why it was said as an accusation. You are doing that. Yes, I'm doing that. I make a living doing that, and we should do that. And that is in my position. I've said it on your channel, Sanket, long ago to Barkha and Nidhi, when this, before News Laundry came about, when, there was coyness that, oh, we don't name other channels, name them. Because the reason media has gone where it has is because there was this unspoken code that we will not critique each other. We will comment on politicians, we will comment on industrialists, we will comment on bureaucracy, we will comment on judiciary, but we won't comment on each other because there's something noble about that. I think it is a completely foolish position to have. Because if you're commenting on every other institution, why should you not comment on media? And secondly, the institutional decay...
An opinion, Mr. Sikri, that's everyone must be entitled to one. Smita feels that this name calling should not happen. You feel it should.
No, I'm not
I find myself somewhere in the centrist approach.
That's all that your website does. Commenting on media is all that your website does.
Okay, before this becomes about News Laundry, the point is, how far are we willing to stretch a lie? And I feel that's exactly what is happening. Smita she's touched upon that. Abhinandan has also touched upon that in their own ways. Essentially, I mean, if viewers notice, they're both saying this exact same thing. It's about you. You are what you watch. Say no to hate news. That's the NDTV campaign. Thank you very much, Abhinandan Sikri, as well as Smita Prakash.